Okay, good afternoon once again. Today we're going to continue our discussion on a very powerful package called Quantmod2. So this is in preparation for our topic on portfolio optimization. So we learned about the difference between the price of a security and the value of a security. we learned, we downloaded Quantmod, and then we learned how to uh, generate or import data from Yahoo Finance. Any stock that's listed in the Yahoo Finance can easily be downloaded in R for as long as you know the ticker symbol. Okay, and of course, there is a list of the different ticker symbols. Okay, so what we have done so far was to make use of the get symbols function. The default is just simple get symbols. A get symbols and then identify the stock. You'll have, for example, Apple. Okay, and let's have a quick review. Right, so here, see, download Apple stock prices. Let me create a code chunk here. Get symbols. Sorry, get symbols. Okay, here. Okay, you have to, of course, first you have to first load the package. Okay, before I do that, below here, did I put it here? Here, plus in day 2. Okay, I'm going to also upload a short video about quick ways to load packages, because sometimes you might, for example, this one. So I was discussing this with another class, but in another subject. But I feel you need this also. So what if you were loading this? This is in our FinStar class. We would need this different packages from R. Okay, so if this was the packages that you need, then it would of course take a long time, because you install these packages and you can identify, of course, install the packages and then concatenate all these packages. But when you load this, you have to load this one by one. Okay, so in the video that I'll be sharing with you also, it tells you how uh, you can download these packages and load them faster than the usual. The usual is install the packages and then library, you have to do the library one at a time. But with this one, what happens is that it takes a look at the packages that you have already installed in your machine. So for example, I'm going to type this code, installed that packages. Okay, install that packages, and let me, for example, create an object called IP. Okay, alt minus. Okay, so here I'm creating this object called IP, which consists of which is the name that object that we're creating for this function, install that packages. And if I run this, okay, it will now generate this object. Kindly delete the objects here. When I shared it with you, do you have the objects also here, class? Would you kindly chat, please? I forgot to erase this. Are the objects created also? Do you have here some objects in the global environment, class? No. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, and let me also remove this first. Okay, good. All right. So nothing in the global environment. Let me once again create that object, IP alt minus install that packages. Okay, so that's the function. Control enter, and then it will now create this object here. If I click to view, of course, we'll have different answers. I have installed in my machine 624 packages. Okay, most probably you'll have a lower number. Okay, and then this gives us some information, very important information about the package. The index is the package name itself, and then the library path is where the package is stored, and then we have here the it depends, or you have to have the R version. For example, this one 3.2. So in order for you to make use of the functionality of anytime, you have to have 3.1.2. Let's see. Since you have already, I know you have already installed Tidyverse. Let's search for Tidyverse here. Okay, you can see that the version of Tidyverse is 1.3.2, and it requires a version of R 3.3. Okay, and then you have here the imports, which means that when I import Tidyverse, it includes these other packages, the Broom package, CLI package, Crayon, dplyr, dtplyr, etc. So some packages come with other packages with it. So when you install it, for example, see Tidyverse, it's a universe actually of tidy packages, including ggplot2, forecats, etc. All right. So what's happening? What will happen to this code that I shared with you? What will happen is that no, I haven't shared this with you. I'll share it with you. Okay, but just to tell you what happened here, it will look at the installed packages. Okay, and then it will compare it with the this object that I created, this vector of packages, and if it does not see in the installed packages this packages, then it will install it and then load it. So, sorry, it will install it first, and then here will be the loading. Okay, actually, there's a very faster way to do that. So, another way is to make use of the pacman package. So we just install that package, and then we use the p package underscore load function of the pacman package. So it will, you don't have to put it in quotation, you don't have to install it and use library for it. Automatically, just use this p load, packages load, and then it will already load that package, those packages. Okay, and there's also this librarian package which you may use. Okay, this is also very powerful because it can load packages that come from GitHub. I think I mentioned to you before that packages does not only they're not only stored in cron. Some packages are not stored in cron, and they're stored in other sites like GitHub or Bioconductor. There's another storage facility for packages. So if you use Librarian, you can also install packages that comes from GitHub. Okay, yung install that packages, hindi, you cannot load packages that come from GitHub. You will have to use another function called DevTools. Okay, so anyway, I'll share this file with you, and I'll share the video link to this, which I recorded for your use. Okay, going back here. So we said that it's very easy to get symbols. You get to get stock prices, of course. Let me load first. Let me start here. Okay, so kindly install that packages. So you can just uncomment this, install pacman, and then we can make use of this already. This code. Take a look at this code. You have here pacman, and then, or you can just use this package load. You have Quantmod2, technical trading in R, the Quandl package, performance analytics, and XTS. So those packages that we want to use now. Okay, perhaps you don't have performance analytics yet, but when you use this function pload, you don't have to do a separate install that packages and then library. This will automatically install and then load it at the same time. Okay, so kindly run this. after you install the Quantmod package, you can run this already. Okay, so I'll run it, and then you can see that after just quickly, these packages are now loaded. Okay, when you're done, please chat so that I know. You have already the packages loaded. Okay, thank you, Carlos. So let's wait for the others. Okay, thank you. All right, so since we have loaded these packages, we can now make use of the get symbols. Let's have a quick review of what we have discussed last time. So get symbols lang tapos AAPL, no? AAPL. So very quick way to, okay, let me just clean this again. I'm removing IP. Okay, get symbols, AAPL, then automatically Quantmod will load the Apple stocks from Yahoo Finance. If we check what's inside here, we learn that it gives us the open price, high, low, close, volume, and adjusted. From January, the first trading day of 2007 until the most current date, which was 29, which was yesterday. Okay, 29. All right, it's not always 2007. If you use this next year, I noticed that, for example, it's already 20, if it's 2024, it will start with 2008. It keeps on moving. Okay, so for us to be able to access 15 years, I think, of data. But of course, I can, if I want the data from year 2000, we can do that, okay, by modifying the code a bit. Okay, so this is just a quick and dirty way to access data. Of course, you can, we did this last time, uh, we can get Amazon, Google, etc. by getting symbols and then just concatenating. Okay, so by way of review, how do we do this? I get symbols, Control C, Control V, and then just use this. Okay, all right, and then just get these other prices, Control C, Control V, then make sure that the stock sticker symbols are in quotes. Otherwise, it will return an error term. Okay, and then this is where I made a mistake last time. Okay, get symbols, and then I have to close this. All right, so when we run this class, it will generate, well, we have Apple already. I'll just delete this. It will download Amazon, Google, IBM, Tesla, Netflix, and you can see that in our objects environment, which we did before. All right, so let's move on, class. We learned also that the data that's created is an XTS object. It's an extensible time series. If we get the structure of XTR of AAPL. Okay, it tells us that this is both an XTS object. Okay, here it's an XTS object. It's actually an SX. Okay, let me use the class function, class AAPL. Okay, that it tells us that it's both an XTS object and a zoo object. Now we said that these are quite related. A zoo object is also a time series object. However, XTS is more powerful. This is the quote unquote newer version. Okay, so there are some functionalities that are present in XTS object which are not present in zoo. Okay, so between the two, we would prefer an XTS object, and we can convert a zoo object to be an XTS object. Okay, so let's go now to day 2 of quant mode. So this is just a quick review. So before, you can get symbols via Google Finance, but this no longer works. For example, get symbols. Okay, and then let's get again Apple, and then SRC refers to source. Source is equal to Google. Okay, so this is how you get the price, the security, in this case Apple, from Google. Okay, if we run this, okay, it will generate an error term. Get symbols, Google is defunct. So dati pa pwede, no? So sabi dito, you could try source is equal to Yahoo instead, which we already proved that we can do that. No? Okay, so how about this? Get QQQ data. So get symbols. Okay, so it's very easy actually, QQQ. And then we can type source is equal to Yahoo, or just leave it blank. Just leave source blank because that's the default. Okay, Control Enter, and then you can see now that an object QQQ is generated here. So it's also an XTS, extensible time series object. And if we check the structure of QQQ, okay, it's an XTS object containing data, 40,000 4555 observations. Yung row, then column is 1 to 6. Okay? And yung mga rows niya, open, high, low, close, etc. Indexed by objects of class, time zone, universal time, I forget the C, UTC, universal time. Okay, anyway, I forget the C there. Okay, so it's an XTS object. Okay, any questions so far, class? Any questions? Okay, good, clear. All right, then we know already how to get, for example, the first 6 rows and the last row of QQQ. What we can do is QQQ and then subset natin, no? We can subset, the first 6 rows will be, first 6 rows and last row we can combine. Okay, subset, small c, we can combine 1 to 6, first 6 rows. And then also, the last row is n row QQQ. N row gives us, if I type here n row QQQ, it will give us the number of rows of QQQ, which is 4055. We can, of course, type 4055 here, but that's not the way to do that. Okay, so this identifies the first number here is your row And the next one is your column. We're going to include all the columns. You just leave that blank and then close this. Okay, so this will now generate a subset of QQQ containing the first 6 rows and the last row, and including all the columns. Okay, if we run this, okay, and sorry, wrong spelling ako, and row. Okay, if I run this, then it will now print, okay, print this object 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So first 6 observations, and then the last one 2023-0209. We have the opening, high, low, close, volume, and unadjusted. Okay, so just a quick exercise here. Get Alibaba. How do we get symbols lang, no? Get symbols, and then what's a ticker symbol for Alibaba? Class? What's a ticker symbol for Alibaba? Anyone? Yeah, thank you, Michael. Thank you. That's Baba. Put here Baba, and then close it. Okay, so unless we want to modify the default function for get symbols, we can just use this. Or we can put together these three, concatenate Baba, and then MSFP for Microsoft, and then for Google, it's GOOG. Okay, so we combine those three, close this. Okay, so let me just delete this. All right, so we'll be able to load the Alibaba, Microsoft, and Google prices. Okay, if I run this, then we now have here, we'll see in the environment, Baba, Microsoft, and Google will be loaded. Okay, so here I have Baba, Google, Microsoft. Okay, any questions, class? Any questions so far? Okay, no questions? All right. Okay, those are just quick reviews. Now, okay. So here we said that the get symbols will default to Quantmod assigning, creating an object and giving it a name, which is usually the ticker symbol of the stock that we want to download. If you want to change that, then you have to do either of. You have to include this part of the function auto.assign is equal to false, which means we don't want Quantmod to create the object for you. You want to give it a name yourself. Okay, so either auto.assign is equal to false or environment is equal to none. So either of the two will do. However, the auto.assign is equal to false is a better way to go about it. Okay, so let's create here. Let's create here an object called spy, small letter SPY. We're going to load the SPY dataset. SPY dataset is an exchange traded fund that follows uh, Standard and Poor's. Okay, so how do we do this? We create this object SPY, alt minus, and then get symbols. So we have SPY, all right? And then we have to put here auto.assign. Auto here, auto.assign is equal to false because we want to create the object ourselves, spy. Okay? All right, then because if we don't do this, if we don't put auto.assign is equal to false, then the default will be auto.assign is equal to true. So it will automatically create this object, capital SPY. If we want to use this, for example, this name, then we have to use auto.assign is equal to false. And let's see, control enter. And you can see here now an object called SPY will be created, the small letter SPY. But let's wait for it to run. Okay, here, spy. So we now have created this object SPY, right? We have assigned it the name that we want to call it. Okay, we can, of course, for this one, we would want to download Johnson and Johnson data. Let me just copy that and name it J and J, small j, and then this is the ticker symbol for Johnson and Johnson's. All right, then this will create the object J and J. Okay, here. Okay, so that's what the auto.assign is equal to false mean. Okay, as I said here, auto.assign is useful if you want to assign the data, the name of the data by yourself. Okay, let me pause for a while. Clear so far, class? And of course, you can also, why don't we, you notice that the default date will be starting January of 2007. The first trading day is January 3 for 2007. So it always defaults to this. If you're going to download it in this year, 2023, it will always start with 2007. Last year, if you were downloading the stock prices, it started 2006. So every year it moves forward. Okay, 2007, that's 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10 plus 2020, that's 14. 14, so that's 2021, 20, around 16 years of data. So we're able to download 16 years of data via the get symbols function. But if you want to identify, to name the range, okay, you can identify, for example, from is equal to, okay, from is equal to, let's say, 2020, 01, 01, to, say, 2022, 12, 31. You can identify, you can specify the date that you would want the data to load. Okay, so let's run this. So our J and J now starts with here January 2, 2022 until, okay, let's open this. Okay, January 2, 2020, which is the first trading day of 2020, and then up to, that's 12/30, December 30, 2022, which is what we specified. We specified 31, however, there's no trading day on on December 31. All right. Now, Quantmod can also download from other datasets, from other databases. Okay, one of the uh, database that's very rich in terms of data is Fred. Could you kindly chat, please, if you have used Fred before? Yes or no, please? Have you used Fred before? The database Fred? Okay. Okay, that's good because this is an opportunity to learn. See Fred class. Okay, let me go here. All right. If I type Fred, this one, Fred, capital FRED, and then enter this, the first that will come as a search is the Federal Reserve Economic Data. So that's what FRED stands for. Federal Reserve Economic Data. Okay, so that's the St. Louis Federal data set. Okay, Federal Reserve Economic Data. If we click this, it will bring us to this site, and there are volumes and volumes of data that you can get from this one. So my GDP data, inflation data, real GDP, unemployment, etc., CPI. Okay, so these are the example: unemployment rate, US Euro exchange rate, 10-year Treasury constant maturity rate. Mga treasuries to, no? Natin sa popular series. 10-year Treasury constant. Okay. So many data set that you can derive here. Okay. So marami, no? And we can, good news is we can download data from Fred. Okay? So, ang first example natin will be, let's try to get GDP, no? We can get GDP data from Fred. So let's import GDP data from Fred and check the structure. So let's again use get symbols. Okay. Alt minus. I'm sorry. Okay. Ito yung function natin. Unless we want to give it a name, GDP. So the ticker symbol is GDP, comma, and we have to identify the source. SRC is equal to Fred. Okay, so Quantmod knows that we would like to download GDP data coming from Fred. Okay, if we run this, okay, it will print okay, automatically, no? Ayan, GDP. So parang yung sa stocks kanina, automatically, kasi auto.assign is equal to true to, di ba? Kasi hindi natin linagyan ng auto.assign is equal to false. Ang default, true eh. So nag-create siya ng object called GDP. Okay, from 1947, no? January 1. So this is quarterly data. April, July, October, and January. Quarterly data siya hanggang October. So very current siya. We can see the gross domestic product performance of US. Okay, so economic data yan. Now, not only economic data like GDP, GNP, we can also access exchange rates. Okay, exchange rate. So if we want, for example, to import the Japanese yen to US dollar exchange rate, ano yung ticker symbol niyan? Okay, sige nga, class. Ticker symbol ng Japan yen to US dollar exchange rate. Let me check the internet. Okay, I see an answer here. Oops. All right, JPY USD. Okay, pero yung ticker symbol from Fred. We need the ticker symbol kay Fred. Kasi yun ang papahanapin natin, di ba? Get symbols to. So we have to know the symbol. Ano yung symbol niya? Ano yung ticker symbol natin? Copy natin to. We need this, no? Get symbols. Yeah, get symbols yung function. Pero ang tanong natin, ano i-get symbols natin? Ito ba? JPY. I-try natin to, ha? Tingnan natin. Control C, JPY underscore. Okay, will this work, class? Kindly check if that worked. Did it work, class? Okay, let me see. Okay, no. No, kasi very specific. Dapat ang syntax natin, dapat ito, yung ticker symbol, no? Like AAPL, BABA. So for example, if we were getting the stock prices of Apple and we just type AAPLE, yung Apple mismo na word, mag-error siya. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds. Ano yun sa internet class? Ano yung Japanese yen, US dollar exchange rate, ticker symbols of Fred? Okay, am I getting any answer? Okay, EXJPUS ba? Natin Control C. Will this work? Control V. Let's see. EXJPUS. Run natin. Okay, EXJPUS 358. Okay, so this is Japanese yen to the dollar, no? 358020 19 71, no? January 1. And you have monthly rates here hanggang yung latest January 2023. Okay. Try nyo nga class kung may D dito. D. What do you get? What's the difference between D, may D sa simula, class? Any difference? Okay, let me see. Anong answer? How to know is, what's this? Julie, what's your question? Okay, can somebody please tell me if What's the difference? Is there any difference if we use DEX JPUS? What are you getting if you use this instead? Monthly, okay. How about this? If we use DEX, okay, what are we getting? What do you notice now? This is 104, 105. That's what? Yes, correct. Daily, no? Daily. So I think there is a question here. How do we know? Well, we will have to do the research class. Anyway, it's defined naman sa Fred dinidefine niya what's the ticker symbol for Japan US exchange rate. So if it's okay, so let's make sure that we define this daily, and then there's this other one. Okay, if monthly. No? All right. Of course, we don't expect to memorize unless your line of work is currency is foreign currencies. So you might be needing to memorize the exchange rates used by the different databases. Okay. Now, how about the next one is we're asked to create a Japan US exchange rate. This is daily, okay, for years 2020 and 2021. Okay, let's name the object JAP US EXR exchange rate. So can you create that object and define our object to be those exchange rate from 2020 and 2021. Waiting for your suggested answer, class. Let me copy this. And then we will attach this. We're creating this object. So the name that we want to give the object, and then get symbols again, then the daily exchange rate between Japanese yen and US dollars from, because we're asked to do it for 2020 and 2021. Okay, so what do I have here? I can put here 2020. Can you check if this will work? Just 2020 and 2021. Will that work, class? If we just identify the year, will that mean the whole year? Or do we have to identify 2020, 0101 to 2021, 1231? Feedback, class? Any feedback about that code, class? Waiting for your response, class. Did this work? Why or why not? Hello, class. Feedback, please. Okay.
So, instead of getting yung mga stock data of Dex JPOS, naging character siya.
Okay, character. So hindi siya nag-create ng ano, no? Hindi
Yeah.
siya nag-create ng object. Now, what's missing there? Can anyone help, class? Ano masasuggest natin? Thank you, Hart, for that answer. And we learned from that, no? Ano natutunan natin? Class? Actually, you know already the answer. Class. Siguro nakalimutan nyo lang. Ano yung kulang dito, class? So may ano dito? Remove the quotations. Sige, sabi ni Matthew, remove the quotations. If I remove the quotations here, okay, sige nga class, can you see if this will work? If you remove the quotations, will that work? Matthew, since you were the one who suggested that, did it work in your end? Were you able to create that object, Japan, US exchange rate, by removing the quotes sa 2020 to 2021?
Oh, no, sir. No, sir.
Anong result? Anong sabi?
Same character.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Matthew. Okay, so what could be the answer here, class? What are we doing? We are creating an object, right? And the object is JAP US EXR. So if we're going to do that, remember, class, what should we be doing? Yes, thank you. Thank you, Hart. Okay. Sabi ni Hart, we forgot this one, auto.assign. Okay? Is equal to, it should be false. Right? It should be false. Now, will this work? Could you kindly check? Matthew, did it work, Matthew? Let me ask Matthew.
Yes, sir.
It worked, no? So, what would happen if you included yung 2020 na, yung from? So about you guys, did it work? Were you able, Matthew, kindly check your data. Did it include all the days of 2020? Did it start with January 3, 2020? And did it end in December 30, 2021?
No, it's still 1971.
1971. Nagsimula sa 1971, no? And then, saan nagtapos?
2023.
2023. Okay, but if we want only 2020, so how should we do it? The daily exchange rate from 2020. So, try this class. Diba pag yung from natin 2020 and then specify the date 01, 01. So that's January 1. And then up to 2021. Okay, 12/31. Okay, how about that class? Will that work now? Okay, feedback please. All right. 1971 pa rin yung start. Hindi siya hindi siya nag-filter. Okay, sabi ni John, Matthew, ano pa rin, 1971?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sigaran nga natin to. Alright, JAP US, yeah, 1971. 1971, okay. Alright, so may NA type dito. So, apparently class, okay, even if you identify kung saan siya magsisimula, as far as Fred is concerned, no, it does not seem to recognize or honor this, no? Hindi niya ino-honor kahit na nagsabi tayo ng ng from at saka to. As far as Fred is concerned. Pag Yahoo to, yung stock price, nag-aano siya, ino-honor niya, no? It specifically gives us the date from yung beginning up to the ending. So this is one tweak about yung kay Fred, no? So I noticed this also na hindi niya ino-honor yung yung from at saka to. I don't know why, class, but I have noticed that also that even if we identify, kunyari 2020 lang, kaya hanggang 2020, 2021, it will still give us the full data set. Maybe I haven't really discovered kung bakit hindi niya ino-honor yung yung specific dates na inon natin. Maybe we can explore if that's possible, if you can do that in Fred. So far, wala akong nakikita na explanation why when we're downloading from Fred, it does not subset. It does not give us the subset that we want. Okay. All right. So for the meantime, yun na muna, no? And what's important here is that when we create an object with the name that we want to give it on our own, we have to make sure that we have this auto.assign is equal to false. Okay, there's that other one, yung environment is equal to null. But this is preferred, yung auto.assign is equal to false. Okay, so clear so far, class? Questions about Fred? I suggest that you also navigate through Fred kasi ang daming data dyan. Federal data. It also contains some data about other countries, hindi lang sa US. All right. Then let's go to another site, the Wanda. Ito si Wanda. So sa Wanda, it specializes in exchange rates also. So let's open this. Let's open the Wanda website. And what do we find here? Dito ba yan? Hindi. Hindi. So open ko na lang, no? Wanda. Okay. So Wanda is actually a broker, but it allows us to download some data, usually mga exchange rates. However, limited lang siya, no? Limited lang siya. It's mainly for those who are trading in foreign currencies. and some commodities like gold, silver, Brent crude oil. All right, but let's try to see the data that we can download from Wanda. Okay, so here, okay, we can let's see what this will give us. The help. Don't know. Let's see. All right, so get symbols that Wanda. So this is also from the Quantmod package. And here it says download currency and metals data from wanda.com. Access to 191 currency and metal prices. So it's limited, no? You can only download the last. Sometimes it's only 180 to 191 currency and metal prices downloadable as more than 36,000 currency pairs from wanda.com. So there are 36,000 currency pairs. No? The downside here is that limited lang yung pwede natin i-download. Yung past 180 days lang. Past 3 months. So, past 6 months. So if that will suffice for you, then this is a good site. Okay? So ito yung ano niya, yung syntax niya, get symbols.wanda, and you have to also know the symbols. Okay? And then we can determine kung ano yung class na pwedeng XTS, pwedeng zoo, it can be a data frame, and then from system date, take a look at this, system date minus, okay, minus 179. This one will return the date today, okay, and then minus 179. That means it will give us the past 179 to 180 days. No? Okay, so from the day-to-day minus 180 up to the day-to-day. So that will give us the 180 days, right? And then itong symbols, it's a character vector specifying the names of each symbol expressed in a currency pair. For example, ito, USD/Euro. Okay? All right, so I think we have examples here. For example, ito, no? Get symbols USD/Euro that will give us the exchange rate, US dollar, Euro, and the default is the past 180 days. Okay, if you try this, okay, subukan natin to class. No? Let's try this, Control C. Okay, I think I discussed this here. Okay, here. No? Let's copy this. Control. Okay, let me copy that there. And this one, let me copy it here. Okay, so get symbols, again, and then ito yung ticker symbol na sa Wanda. No? The exchange rate between US dollar and Euro, source Wanda. So let's run this. Okay, and automatically it will create this object. So ito yung auto.assign is equal to false. Ano? Nag-create siya ng USD Euro object, which is an XCS object. Let's run this. Okay, so 179 entries. Okay, starting with the past 180 day, August 15, 2022, hanggang kahapon, no? February 9, 2023, 0.93. All right. So if we try to get, pag define natin kung kailan yung start, January 1, 2005, let's see what will the answer here be. All right, yung pa rin, no? Okay. Yung pa rin, kahit na gawin mong, kahit na gawin nating earlier, it will not, kasi you have to have a subscription if you want the earlier dates. Kailangan may subscription tayo, may bayad dapat. Wanda only provides historical data for the past 180 days. No? Ito. So kahit na define natin na from January 1, 2005, it will only give us the past 180 days. Okay? Is this clear so far, class? All right. As an exercise, how about this one? Currency pair naman natin, Chinese yuan and Philippine peso. Sige nga, get the past 180 days prices ng Chinese yuan, renminbi, and Philippine peso. And then, i-load natin. Tapos ang sabi dito? Okay. Gagawa tayo ng object, no? Let's create this object, currency pair. And then, get symbols. And then get the structure. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute to do that, class. Done? Okay, sige, sabay-sabay natin in the interest of time. Sabi dito, create this object, currency pair. So, ganun lang. The currency pair. Right? We're creating this object. And it's supposed to be what? Supposed to be Chinese yuan, CNY, / PHP. So that's now the currency pair for Chinese yuan and Philippine peso. So, tapos ilo-load natin to, diba? Get symbols lang. Get symbols. Here, get symbols. Then how do we do this? Well, we just use the object we created, currency pair. Diba? Currency pair will now refer to yung Chinese yuan. Diba? Source is equal to, source will be our quotes Wanda. Right? So, ganun lang, no? Ang difference lang dito, nag-create lang tayo ng object na currency pair. Okay? And then, that's defined to be Chinese yuan and Philippine peso. And then lastly dito, structure lang. Structure ni, nag-create ba tayo ng object dito? Okay, sige. Let's create this object first, currency pair. So that will just be, si currency pair, that will just be a, ano lang siya, no? That should be, ano lang ito? This will only be a character vector. Yan. Okay, and then get symbols. So this will now create, diba? Nag-create na siya ng object na to. So CNY-PHP. Okay, nag-default si Quantmod na create niya is CNY-PHP, which is the Chinese yuan Philippine peso exchange rate for the past 180 days. Okay, 8.0 something, 8 point something ang average exchange rate ng Chinese yuan, renminbi, and the Philippine peso. And then if we get the structure nino, kasi yung object natin to, no? CNY-PHP. That's our object. Okay. Diba? Yun ang na-create na object ito. You can get the structure of this object that was automatically created by Quantmod. Control Enter. And we know that this is an XTS object, extensible time series, 179 observations. Right? So this is an XTS object. Alam natin ang index niya. Okay? Time zone, UTC. UTC, since ang time zone ng computer ko is UTC. I'm sure kayo din. UTC means Universal Time, ano ba yung C? Paki-check nga please. Kindly somebody please tell me. Nakalimutan ko. Convention ba? Universal Time Convention. Dati yan GMT, no? GMT stands for Greenwich Meridian Time. Okay, so that was the old name. Ngayon ginawa nilang UTC. Okay, what's a C class for UTC? Convention ba? Universal Time Convention. Hello? Kindly please, somebody check kung ano ibig sabihin ng ng C doon. Okay. Thank you, Carlos. Universal Time Coordinated, no? Or Coordinated Universal Time. Hindi pala convention, coordinated. Thank you, Carlos, for that. So it's UTC means Coordinated Universal Time or Universal Time Coordinated. So the old name is GMT. Ang Philippines, +8 GMT tayo, no? GMT stands for Greenwich Meridian Time and it passes through yung Greenland tapos London, no? Yun ang time frame. If you draw if you look at the globe and then you create from the North Pole and then you draw a line going down, patamaan nyo sa London, no? Yun yung yung GMT. So yung line na yon from north touching London down to south, that's your time zero. And then you go 8 latitudes to the right, that's Philippines, no? Ando dun si Manila, yun ang +8. Okay, for those of you who don't know that. So anyway, so you can also use, instead of get symbols, pwede rin yung get FX. Pwede rin yun. That's an alternative to get symbols. Sige nga, try nyo class. Try using get FX. So yung sa yung sa Fred, iba yung ticker symbol niya, no? Yung daily EXJPUS, no? Daily exchange J Japan, JP Japan US. That's daily exchange rate ng Japan at saka US. Sa naman sa Wanda, ang ginagamit niya is yung may slash, no? USD. Okay? So this will be get FX. So we're going to use that get FX. So that's our function. And then USD/EUR. Okay. In fact, kasi ang Wanda ang gumagamit nitong pati yung get FX na. Let's see if this will run. Run natin to. Okay, it run, no? Yun din, US dollar. In fact, nawala na isang USD. In-overwrite na niya. So it's now 2008. Okay? Yung past 180 days. So you notice dito, hindi na natin kailangan, we didn't need to put here source. But we could have done that. Source is equal to Wanda. And it would have generated the same answer. Okay? Yun pa rin, no? Yun pa rin. Okay? And even if we write here, Control C, Control V, even if we write here na doble, even if we write from, no? From is equal to 2005, 01, 01. It doesn't matter. No? It will not give us the exchange rates from 2001. Ganun pa rin. So 180 days lang talaga. Okay, so that's the limitation of Wanda. Okay, clear so far, class? Ay, time na, no? Ayun nga pala. Sorry. All right, so let me stop there. I'm sorry about the extension. Stop recording.